to come up here and is going to explain to you what happened to her life, to her husband, and there's other political prisoners out there that we got to be concerned with. So please give it up for Miss Susan Delemus.
Well, if that's not preaching to the choir, I don't know what is. I mean, everybody here knows that, and a lot of the times people want to know how my husband is, so I'm going to start off with that, because Jerry is an amazing man, and I'm so glad I married him. He's something else. People always ask me, how's he doing? What's happening? Well, how's Jerry? Well, he's great. I know that sounds really bizarre to say, because he's in federal prison, and he's been there since the 3rd of March, 2016. So I've been without my husband and my honeydew for a long time. And it's not easy, but we're making it. It's okay. We'll get through. God will see us through this. And you're right. He will. He does all the time. He's the one. He provides. We love it. So Jerry he's got a ministry, and he's had one since the day he left our door. He went to the county. He went to Brooklyn, New York. He went to Oklahoma. He went all across the country and ended up in Pahrump, Nevada as a detainee. And he was a detainee for over a year. And right now, actually, just to get you guys to know what's happening with that case, Cliven is not, they're still under the cloud. Cliven, Ryan, Ammon, Ryan Payne, and all the others who've taken pleas for whatever their reason was, and I can tell you why Jerry did too. He fell on his sword to save a friend, and he took it. He took the bullet, and that was that. And you know what? He doesn't regret it. And he told the judge at his sentencing, I'd do it again. Boy, did she turn red. She was so mad. Wasn't she, Carol? Carol was there. And Jerry said there were snipers in the hills. We saw the snipers in the hills, and the prosecution lied through its teeth. And also, don't forget, in Melchior at the wildlife refuge, there were 15 FBI agents as plants in there, and there were only 10, patriots. So think about that and look around, because I'm sure that someone here, maybe a few of you, actually work for the FBI, and that's how I live my life. I know the FBI follows me. I know they listen to my phone calls. I know they watch what I do, and they watch what everybody else does, and they're watching every single one of us. Don't think they're not, and don't think they're not here. So for those of you who work for the FBI who are here today, no. What I want to say to them is, may God bless you and protect you. May Jehovah shine his face towards you and be gracious to you, all of us. And may Jehovah lift his face and lift his countenance towards us and grant us peace. Join us. We are the government. We are the government. The powers that belong to us, we are the ultimate power. We're the ones who decide who sits in office. And if you don't get your butt off your chair and get up and do something, then that's on you. Yeah. That's on you guys. My mother's got Alzheimer's. I have a job taking care of her. I don't really have a whole lot of money coming in. I don't have any time. I have to arrange babysitters. This was difficult to come to today, but you know what? I joined and decided to run for office again. So I'm running for office right now. And with my kind of schedule, none of you have an excuse to not run. If you don't know somebody that you want to have run, if you've got somebody that you know is good who is running, get behind them. Go knock on doors. Pick up their flyers. Put their signs out. Get into the government. We are the government, and we need to be in there. If we don't get in there, who's leaving the fox in the hen house? They're the ones watching and taking care of us. They want to rule kindly, but they want to rule. They want to rule us. So anyway, Jerry has a ministry. He's treating his incarceration as a job. He does a great job. His captors love him. The inmates love him. They have respect. And you know what? Guards come up to him all the time. And this is for you, FBI agents on the ground. And they say to Jerry, you don't belong here. You're an innocent man. We don't know why you're here. Why are you here? And you know why he's here? He's there? It's not necessarily the Bundys. I'll tell you, they would say, oh yeah, there's conspiracy. Conspiracy, Mike, you know what? We saw on Drudge what was happening to that family and those citizens of these United States, several states, right? Their rights were being usurped, and not only that, but the government wants you to think there was never such a thing as Waco, and there was never such a thing as Ruby Ridge, and there's never been anything done incorrectly or improperly by the federal government. And there's never been guns held on people, and there's never been any kind of graft or illegal activity by the FBI. Good Lord, look at the mess we're in. Just watch the flippin' news. So Jerry went out because he didn't want guns trained on their grandkids. He was going to stand in the middle and take the bullets for them. Because guess what? He's a Marine. He's a Marine. Right. And you can say he's retired, but he's Marine through and through. And anybody who served in our armed forces deserves a hand right now. Every single one of you out there who is a patriot and who has been in our service to protect us. It's a tiny little teeny bit of population that protects all of us, and we have a heart for that. So we called up. I got the phone number. I don't know if it was Carol answered the phone or Clive, and somebody answered the phone. And I said, hi, is this Mr. Bundy? He said, yeah. And I said, Jerry, Mr. Bundy's on the phone. And Jerry got on the phone. It was a Tuesday. And he talked to Clive for a little while, and I was listening, and I thought, oh, well, guess Jerry's going out west. And he got off the phone, and I said, are you going, when are you going? Are you going today or tomorrow? He goes, no, we can't go till Thursday. There was no, oh, well, there's going to be a standoff, and I got to get out there in time for the standoff. There was nothing like that. Nobody knew that was going to happen. If anyone was orchestrating anything, it was the flippin' BLM and the FBI. Don't think, good Lord, really? Are you working for the FBI right now and sitting in this audience? Wake up. Wake up. Seriously. You're part of the problem, unfortunately. I wish you weren't. I wish you well. Be a citizen. Be a patriot. I know you think you're working for your government, but your government is corrupt. We need to return it to the people. There were guards that got fired out in Pahrump because they spoke up, because they heard Jerry, and they believed in what he did and why he did it. And all the people who went out there, I believe, except for the plants, were well-intentioned and meant to be protectors. And he'd do it for anybody. He'd do it for everybody. Those kind of people that get up and get in the truck and drive, I don't care if it's 10 miles, I don't care if it's 1,000 miles. That's the kind of people we need to be. And that's the kind of people we need to put in our government. In our government. I ran the first time because we need watchdogs and constitutional conservatives in government. There's not a whole lot of us. And even when we had our majority, the first term that I was in, we had a super majority. We could override anything the governor decided to do, and we still couldn't get things like right to work. And there were all kinds of things that just, I couldn't even believe that we had that kind of opposition. It drove me nuts. Jerry is praying. He's teaching about Yehovah. He is teaching a trade to people. They've got him in charge of maintenance. He's making the most money anybody can make, $99 a month. Woo-hoo! Hey, listen, he's making more money than I make if I make it in as a state representative. I get $100 a year doing that job. Yeah. So
$5,000 a year in Massachusetts for a state rep. That's base pay.
you know what though? I mean, seriously, if you're gonna go, hey, anybody need a job? Run for office here in Massachusetts. Get in there. Get in there. I'm not saying $65,000 a month is a bad thing. It's a good thing if you're there for the right reason and you're there for the people. We are the people. Nobody else is our government. We are our government. We need to get involved. I mean, God bless us all. The Second Amendment is the hammer, right? But we got the First Amendment, we got the Third, the Fourth Amendment. We got all the amendments that we need to stand up for. Now, I don't like the 16th and the 17th. I think that really gutted our Constitution. The 16th and 17th. The 17th was where they stopped having recall for the states. So you can't say to your senator, we don't like you, so you're doing stuff we don't want you to do, so the state body is going to recall you, you're going to come back home, and we're going to put the fear of God into you. Now they're elected by the general public, so they don't have anybody that they answer to. It's a shame. And I'm afraid for any kind of a convention, because I'm afraid that there's going to be people who are in there. You see what's happening in the government now. How do people even watch what's happening and think that our government is for the people? You know, seriously, our government is the Constitution. This little teeny, look at this. Not all of these pages are the Constitution. Some of them are quotes from Washington and Adams and all those guys. This is to limit our government. This is supposed to limit. We have unalienable rights. There are several that are named, but we got a lot more rights than that. There are unnamed rights that we have given to us from Jehovah, not from government. Not from government. And it needs to be limited. And it needs to sit down and let the people have their local control. That's really vital. All government wants to do is grow. That's what it does. It's a
like cancer.
Like cancer. Well, you know what Jerry said? He goes, it's like The Blob. Have you ever seen that movie, The Blob? Yeah. It's an old movie. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's a funny, silly old movie. I probably wouldn't be able to stand watching it now because the effects are probably terrible. But the Blob is this thing, and it's this alien life form, and it can squeeze under doors, and it can squeeze through windows, and it can get in you. And if you touch it, it eats you, and it eats everything in its path, and you can't stop it. You can't shoot it. You can't kick it. You can't throw salt on it. It's not like a slug. It just eats everything. And so Jerry's like, yeah, it's like the Blob. Our government is like the Blob. If we got to figure out a way to limit it, and they hate this. I went campaigning, and I knocked every single door, not just Republicans, but everyone. I went to every door. In my state, there are 400 representatives, and what that works out to be about 3,300 people per representative. So that's pretty good, pretty strong representation. I'm knocking on doors, so I went to every door, and one woman opens the door, and I said, hi, I said, I'm Sue Delemus, I'm running for state representative here in Ward 4, and I appreciate your vote. I'm a constitutional conservative, and I believe in limited government and freedom, more local control. And she said, I hate the Constitution. She looked me right in the eye and said, I hate that Constitution, I hate it. I'm like, really? You hate having individual rights? You want to be about the Blob? She's looking at, maybe she was one of those little pod people in the Body Snatchers. I just don't know. She lived in a beautiful house. She had a beautiful car. She was beautiful. I mean, lovely, articulate woman, and I couldn't believe it. And you want to talk about agenda, and I know I've got limited time. I'll try not to take too much more, but there's a documentary that was put out a few years back, and it's called Agenda: Grinding Down America. And if you have not seen it, find it and watch it, and you will be amazed. There is an agenda. There's an agenda that has been worked on for a long time. Some of us, I didn't wake up till 2009. We did the 9/12, we went to DC, we went and did all those marches. We got a 9/12 group, I've got a 9/12 group. Still, I keep that going up at the Secretary of State of New Hampshire, coming next month. And, you know, we're active, but the agenda is communist. And if you're a communist here, you should watch the movie too. Get the documentary and watch it. I mean, or move to another country. All the other countries that hate this capitalism, they like socialism. We need individual people who are entrepreneurial, who get out and see themselves not as a conglomerate. It's kind of us against them. They want us to be a conglomerate. They want the blob, and they want us all to just be part of the blob. We're not the blob. We're individual people. We have our individual rights. They're given to us from Jehovah. Right?
Right.
So, I know I'm sort of preaching on and on about this, and I also want to say something about Sheriff Mack.
Yeah.
What a great guy. My husband went out to the Bundys, brought some maple syrup, kept the peace, nobody died. He wasn't even there the day of the standoff. They just decided to make him an example because he's got a big mouth and he's political and he doesn't care what he says and he just goes right out and does what he does. And he still does, even in the prisons. And, oh God, I lost that thought.
It's okay.
I was looking at poor Carol. Huh? Sheriff Mack, yes. So, God bless him. Yes. So Jerry ran for sheriff. He comes back from Bunkerville, 2014. He'd already run for mayor, before he went out. And he ran for sheriff. Constitutional sheriff. That was the thing. He wanted to be a constitutional sheriff. He looked into the whole organization. He touted it. He talked about it. He called. I think he might have even called Arpaio. I think he might have talked to Arpaio. But anyway, he ran and he actually did a pretty good job of it. And so when they arrested him, now we've had the FBI at our house. They're sitting around my dining room table drinking my coffee. And then that guy comes to my house a year later and takes my husband out. Well, there were 9 guys. They all had their ARs and they were lined up again. They were all in their military gear with their helmets on. And they're saying that Jerry is a threat to society and a flight risk. You know what? Everything that Sheriff Mack said was right on. Yeah. Absolutely right on. And they did that for the audience. All the guns and the guys and all of their helmets and all the stuff that they did. They knew damn well. They knew exactly who Jerry was. They have sat with us, both of us, in our home. We showed them our guns. We talked about Second Amendment with them. And then they have the gall to come in like stormtroopers because Jerry's so dangerous. They could have just called us up and said, Jerry, we have a warrant for your arrest. Can you please turn yourself in? He would have done that. We would have gone in. There was no need for that. They guarded all my whole neighborhood. We live in a condominium. They guarded every door. They blocked all people from coming in, going out. It was a show. It was an absolute show. And for those of you who are here who are working for the FBI, you guys are, boots on the ground. I'm hearing all these conservative guys saying, oh, well, it's not the boots on the ground, it's the higher-ups. No, you know what? I want to argue with you a little bit about that. Because the guy that sat at my table and drank my coffee, he knew damn well he could have called up our house and he could have said, can you turn yourself in, Jerry? We've got a warrant for your arrest. They didn't have to put that show on, but the boots on the ground wanted to come, and they wanted to make a show of it. And you know what? Those guys, they drove silver trucks, black trucks, SUVs, Vehicles you wouldn't even suspect. No markings on any of those vehicles. No markings at all on their license plates. Nothing. Nothing. So you don't know. You can be driving down the road and you could have 5 of them surrounding you in traffic and you couldn't tell for all the tea in China. So keep that in mind. Because our government is afraid of us. They don't want... The government used to be to protect the people, protect our borders, right? And protect the people. Now the government has turned itself around and it's protecting itself against us. Michelle Fiore said that one day, and I picked right up on that, and I said, boy, that's not the truth. I don't know what is. Well, Jerry's doing fine. We're doing okay. I have some friends here. There's even another former representative sitting out here somewhere and listening to my diatribe. And friends who come to the meetings. And just keep it up. But you know what? One more thing I want to say. Bring a friend.
Yeah.
Talk to your neighbors. I'm serious. I'm serious as a flippin' heart attack about that right now. I had the commissioner of the Department of Education in New Hampshire at my last 9/12 meeting. The commissioner of the Department of Education, a good man, a very, very good man. And just there to be educational, but he's, one of us. And we had 35 people. What the hell is that? These bleachers should be full.
Yes.
We should need 2 tents to keep everybody.
Yeah.
I mean it. Get active. Really? We're here. Look at. We traveled out to the Bundys, now the Bundys have traveled out here. And I am not leaving without a hug. But I mean, some of us have traveled far, and we're still trying to beat that drum. We need your help. Those of us running for office, we need your help. We need you to talk to your neighbors. Have a discussion. Don't have a fight. For the people who are in the FBI who happen to be here today, I don't know, why don't you stand up and start having a decent conversation with people and realize that we all bleed red, that we all love our families, that we all love our friends, and that we all have freedoms and rights that were given to us not by our government. And the government shouldn't be able to take them away. My husband is in prison right now, and I don't know when he's getting out. But if he doesn't get out because of either a presidential pardon, which we've put in for, or something happens with the case, he'll be in there till 2022. Yep, 2022. Now you know what? By God, and I mean it, we're gonna make it. It'll be all right. But the judge. Cliven, Ryan Ammon, and Ryan Payne, and all of those, I started to say, Judge Gloria Navarro, keep her in your prayers. Whatever kind of prayers you want to pray. Judge Navarro, you don't want to hear my prayers. Oh no, you don't. Jerry tells me I can't pray like that. So anyway, she has to make up her mind. So there were 3 tiers of guys, right? We had the upper tier, we had the middle tier, and the lower tier. Most culpable, middle guys, least culpable tier. So here's the least culpable guys and the most culpable guys. The prosecutor says, hey, let's go after the middle guys. We'll get them, we'll screw them to the wall, put them in prison, and then it'll be easier to go after everybody else. Well, they couldn't get a jury. They couldn't get a jury to convict those guys for all the tea in China. They kept putting plants in them. There were all kinds of fights, and there was all kinds of bad stuff going on in the jury. And by the way, read up on jury nullification. You are the power. Get on the juries. Jury nullification is important. Some states will put you in jail because you talk about jury nullification. Talk about jury nullification. We have the power. That is the heart. That's the heart of our court system right there. That's the buffer. So anyway, we got two guys in the middle tier. One got, because they got him drunk, they got the longbow, fake documentary people came in. They took Jerry too. They filmed them all, said, hey, tell us all about your experience. We're going to put it on a documentary. And then they used it against Greg Burleson, all of them. So Greg, they knew it was an operative for them, and they got him drunk. And he flapped his mouth, and so they used all the stuff he said against him. Now he's in prison for 86 years. Hopefully that falls apart. Hopefully this whole thing falls apart. Todd Engel, he was found guilty same time. They put off his sentencing. I think he was supposed to be sentenced in September, and maybe, I don't know, March, December. She's pushed that thing off. It's supposed to be March 22nd, May, June, she pushed it off. Now we're waiting for July, 19th or something like that, right? So she keeps pushing this off. In the meantime, the judge came back and finally admitted, she said she didn't know. Right. Oh, I didn't know that they were lying. No, oh, you bad prosecution, you were lying, and now we found out. So the prosecution comes back and says, okay, well, the least culpable guys will agree. You know, we'll let them go. We won't want to get him back to trial. We'll just do dismiss with prejudice. But the top guys, Cliven, Ryan, Ammon, and Ryan Payne, we want to go back at them, Judge Navarro. So we want you to reconsider your decision. So she's been sitting on her, whatever she's been sitting on, and I don't know, probably drinking by the pool. Who knows what she's doing? But she's pushing it back. And does she give a damn about the people? Hell no! She doesn't care about them or us or any of us. She's trying to do a CYA. She doesn't know what to do. What's she going to do? If she says, I'm going to uphold my dismissal with prejudice, that blows everything. It makes the top tier free, and it lets us come back to the court and say, dismiss us. Let Jerry out of jail. Dismiss with prejudice. Or if she decides she wants to go back at, and she says, yeah, I'll let you go back at Cliven and the rest of those guys, then what's she going to do? Then we still are going to make a motion because there's exculpatory, which means evidence that will be provided to the defense that will actually free these guys and show what they were lying about all along. FBI people who are here, listen up. And then what do? Then we make a motion to go back to court, to go to trial, and we'll go. By God, we'll go to the Supreme Court. We will. They lied. They absolutely lied, and that's their modus operandi. And if you see what they've done to General Flynn, watch what they're doing to the upper echelon people in Trump's thing. It's all the same. They do the same stuff all the time. It's how they work. It's the swamp. It's as big as Lake Erie, and it's deep by miles. That swamp is huge. Huge, as Trump would say. We need to keep all of these things in mind. And Cliven still has that cloud. Pray on your knees. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. And your family. We lost family over this. Can you believe it? The hell? Anyway, next time there's a 2A meeting here, and the next time there's some kind of a rally, fill these benches. Get your neighbors in here. Bring people with you. Spread the word, because we need to expand this movement, and we need to expand it exponentially. And that's enough for me. I'm going to stop preaching now. God bless you all. We love you all. And thank you for letting me speak.
Live for your die.
Live for your die. Death is not the worst of all evils.